The sky shattered in an instant. One moment, the Israeli F-15 was slicing through the bright blue air above the Negev desert, its twin engines roaring like a pair of unleashed beasts, and the next, a violent collision tore through the aircraft with a bone-cracking shockwave. The jet lurched sideways, violently, unnaturally, as if some invisible giant had grabbed it mid-flight and spun it around. Metals screamed, alarms shrieked, and flames briefly curled along the fuselage. And then came the moment that would define the legend. A huge section of the right wing sheared off into the open air, spiraling downward like a dying bird. From the ground, observers would later say it looked impossible, a modern fighter jet holding itself aloft while missing the very thing that made it fly. But at that moment, high above the desert, the fall had already begun. Something catastrophic was waiting below. The struck F-15 began a slow, sickening roll, its nose diving, the nose cone vibrating violently as the damaged frame fought the physics tearing it apart. Desert winds blasted across the broken aircraft, filling the cockpit with a deep rumbling vibration that made every second feel borrowed. Beneath the falling jet, the pale sand blurred into a spinning whirlpool, as though the earth itself was rising to swallow the machine whole. And yet, it didn't fall. Not completely. Despite the missing wing, despite the shredded metal, despite the aerodynamic nightmare the fighter had become, the jet refused to simply die. Its engines kept pushing, screaming, clawing at the air. The frame shuddered and buckled, but something inside the aircraft kept it suspended where no aircraft should have remained. It was hanging on, barely, like a wounded predator that refused to hit the ground just yet. As the jet continued its unstable, side-slipping glide, the desert below stretched endlessly, indifferent, silent, waiting like a graveyard of sand. Every second was a fight. The aircraft shook with tremors that cracked through the cockpit, the airframe flexing in ways it was never designed to endure. Bulkheads twisted. Panels peeled away. The control surfaces jittered violently, threatening to tear free at any moment. The smell of overheated electronics filled the cockpit as warning lights multiplied like fireflies. Still, the machine clawed forward. The runway, that precious strip of concrete that could save everything, was miles away. An eternity. The jet drifted at a sickening angle, dragging its broken side like a wounded animal crawling home. The engines were the only thing keeping it airborne now, blasting forward thrust that substituted sheer brute force for aerodynamic lift. But the more they roared, the more the aircraft vibrated, and every vibration carried the same silent message: it won't hold forever. For a moment the aircraft dipped sharply, nose down, the desert rushing closer in a terrifying blur. The horizon tilted sideways, the sky rolling like a capsizing ship. It felt as though the next second would be the one where everything finally let go. But something unseen, some delicate balance of thrust, weight, and desperate momentum, caught the falling beast once more. It leveled out just enough. Just barely enough. The runway came into view. Long, narrow. Unforgiving. A thin line of hope etched into the empty desert. Heat ripples danced along the ground as the crippled jet descended, fighting physics all the way to the end. Tires screeched against the concrete with an explosive thud, the landing gear bending under the brutal impact. The jet slammed down, skidding wildly, sparks blasting out in long streaks of glowing orange. The nose shook violently, bouncing and scraping as the aircraft tore down the runway, a mechanical corpse refusing to collapse. Finally, it ground to a halt, trailing smoke, debris, and the unbelievable fact that it had survived at all.